would like to remind everyone this is our first meeting that has ever been on television due to the new state law, so you all will be on YouTube. So thanks for showing up today. It's good to have an audience. First item is to approve our minutes from June 17th. Do I have a motion to approve those?
Motion to approve the minutes.
And second.
Okay, motion carries 3-0. Next, we have the Tipton County called Swamp Headwaters Proposed Joint Watershed.
Yes.
Would you like to take us through
To
that?
welcome our esteemed guest, Mr. Jason Henderson, Tipton County Surveyor, Mike Klein. I don't know the other guests here. I assume they're here for the same purpose. But what's being proposed is that Tipton County would create a watershed to help improve the drainage in the Swamp Creek area, as you can see on this map here. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Henderson, and he can take us through the proposal.
Yes, good morning, Board.
Morning.
Jason Henderson, Tipton County Surveyor. We do have some landowners that are here from not only our county, but York County. As you can tell there on the image that we've kind of presented, the lighter colored purple one there is the swamp drain. And we've also, if you'll notice on the Tipton County side, we have a lot of tiles and stuff that feed into the head of that. As do yourselves, which is like the H Grove Tile and Open and the Amos and Paris Open, along with the Floyd Open. So those all get to Swamp Creek. And in Swamp Creek, for whatever reason, our forefathers did not set that one up underneath some type of maintenance agreement. And then it hits the Kilmore, and Kilmore's a bigger project than what we would be able to handle, because it may take in more than just the two counties. With the two counties, we can just simply maybe go to a mutual joint drain. And we had a meeting with the Clinton County Surveyor, and instead of just jumping right into the statutory process, we wanted to come give a presentation to the board before we did all the notifications and stuff. But where we were at, we were looking at working with Zach and Dan to put together a hearing, just like we would any other maintenance hearing. We'd be establishing a new maintenance fund. So we could start getting some work done on the swamp drain. Even whenever there's work done on the Amos and Paris Opens and the Grove and Tile Opens, it hits that portion right there. And I know Dan's had to remove some obstructions on Swamp Creek. We probably have some individuals that actually farm or directly on Swamp Creek that may or may not want to speak regarding that. But we just wanted to come to the board, let you know that's what we were trying to plan on doing, and wanted to give you the courtesy instead of you were just receiving a letter and then having to take action on that. We would be more than happy if it's permissible and the board wants as well that Tipton County could manage the overall maintenance fund. I know you have joint drainage boards, you have other boards where you collect money and send it to other counties. It's no different. It's just it would be a new one that you don't see this happening very often. But we've heard it from people on the Clinton County side and Tipton County side that this would be something that would be a benefit. Of course, there would be an additional assessment. So guarantee that the room would be fuller than what this is, no matter where the hearing was held at.
Yeah.
And you've all sit through those hearings. So, but we don't know if you have any questions. It was more just wanting to give you a brief presentation and not take a lot of time. So we're willing, obviously, to answer any questions or comments. But that's the goal. And I think it does have the support of Dan.
I think it's overall a good concept. I'm not sure how the process works exactly. I've never created a new watershed. Don't recall looking in our books that's been done for ages. So it will take a little research to figure out just exactly how we go about this. I do like the concept of, and we do this all the time at various other watersheds on our borders. Let Tipton County take the lead on this. They collect the assessment, they or take care of the maintenance of the project. We do have one exhibit showing the overall watershed, which I don't know if you defined exactly where you're going to be in that, but the watershed itself is over 13,000 acres. Very, very large.
Yeah, so this is a catchment here. This also includes, this is everything in Clinton County that drains into Kilmore Creek and to Swamp Creek. So it may be a little bit more than what the proposal would be if you're not including Kilmore Creek in that. So yeah, this would be everything in Clinton County that drains into that by the catchments, the actual topography of the ground. A little over, 13,500 acres.
Have you,
Some of that's already in watershed.
Correct, yes.
It would just be creating a new watershed.
Right.
For that.
Right.
Okay.
and this is not unusual either. I mean, we have the same thing in the Big Cicero, where we have watersheds within that watershed. Some of these would be an additional assessment perhaps. So we haven't quite worked out the exact boundaries of where Tipton would like to go with this. I mean, we have that one there, which is that? I can't
We're
remember.
looking at
This one here.
the foreman.
The Foreman, which is kind of in the middle of all this, how that would be absorbed into the new watershed or it would stand alone. Some questions that need to be worked out. But I think all in all, just trying to get a census of the board, if you're interested in doing this, we could move forward with it. That's basically what you're after, Jason.
Exactly. When we were looking at the Kilmore, that thing keeps going. It actually goes past, I think, a town or something called Kilmore. So we were not looking to take on the Kilmore as part of that watershed, just simply because I think if we were going to do the Kilmore, it's got to go a whole lot further than just where it meets the Shanty. So we were thinking that the Shanty was a good stopping point. At least in Tipton County, I know probably people in here have properties where they pay multiple ditch assessments, because you got to think of the way the maintenance works is you pay to a drain that's right there adjacent to your property, which then feeds another one. So that'd be something we could discuss with Dan if they wanted to try to absorb in that, the Foreman one, or if leave it as a standalone. A lot of people argue, if we bring it in, and I don't know what the funds are like in the Foreman, but some people get very territorial, saying that their tile's functioning just fine and they shouldn't have to pay to a larger watershed. But I think it's an easy argument, especially in this area of your community. One of the interesting things is on our side, we have one of our 4 incorporated areas, all their water feeds that direction. Actually, it's the town of Kempton. And we've got some, we went through a sanitary sewer project many years back to separate some of the stuff that maybe shouldn't be making it into Swamp Creek. That was mandated by the state, and they got that taken care of. But there's still, we have a lot of homes in that incorporated area, and all their water gets going this direction. At least on our side, we would not be wanting to combine any watersheds. We would still make those all standalone, but yet then they would pay an additional one to the Swamp Creek. At least that'd be our first thought.
So the watersheds we have now in Clinton County that are in Big Cicero, they have dual
Yes,
assessments.
yeah, that's not uncommon.
What's our biggest watershed right now, acre-wide?
Leslie Johnson,
Johnson,
and this would be bigger than that.
Okay.
If it was like this, yeah.
Okay.
And obviously Leslie Johnson, it comes into Tipton County. You guys take care of part of that.
It's just right here
Yeah.
at the south edge of the screen here.
Okay.
But I think it feeds Big Cicero, so
That's correct.
yes.
Along with 2 smaller ones I think we have down there.
Okay.
I do like the idea of the Kempton, because we know from aerial photographs that we have a seed producer who's draining into the Amos Parish Floyd, and we're collecting no assessments from that. So by changing this, we would get some of that back in the other watershed Tipton would get if they took over the watershed. At least that would be paying into it, which I think
Yes.
is helpful.
Yes.
So what is the possible timeline of this?
Theoretically, just with any of your other drainage maintenance projects, we would want to establish or get it done before the end of the year so we can start collecting next year. Of course, allowing enough time for anyone that might want to remonstrate against the project, giving them enough time. So I guess hopefully we would be shooting around November, maybe Thanksgiving, thereabouts there. I know it's not great timing, but that would give us enough time after we certified the hearing that if someone wanted to go to the court to say that maybe the assessment was unfair, then they would have time to do that process, so we could still maybe start collecting next year and getting some things done. Actually, once it gets established, just like with any other fund, we could run it negative and start doing work immediately and start getting assessments back that would build that fund back up. But,
I guess I have one question. I just read through the statute very briefly, and maybe you've dug through them a little more. When we do take drains into a watershed, they have to be in good working order. How do you see that working?
Well, I would rely on the surveyor in Clinton County to attest that those are good working drains. We just dumped a bunch of money in that, on that one exhibit, the NF Mott ditch, doing a lot of clearing on it and preparing it for, hopefully what would come over here. So it is in good working condition. So I think it'd just be letters between
All
ourselves.
right. 'Cause I'm not familiar with the mod, I've not looked at it, but, so that does answer my question.
You guys have any questions?
A lot, but not at this point that we can answer, you know, I mean, I think it's worth looking into, and, you know, I think as we move forward, there's gonna be some other questions. We've never done this,
No, not that I haven't done it.
yeah.
We've done it,
And I was gonna say, you guys have,
yes, not only at Big Cicero, which was done in the 90s, but we have established new watersheds since then. More oftenly, they end up being established on older subdivisions where there's infrastructure, but there's no way for anybody to maintain it. So we went in and did some establishments that way. So they have their own specific thing that we can work on their infrastructure inside their subdivision. And of course, then they pay to another 2 or 3 funds that subdivision feeds into. So we've done that within the last at least 4 or 5 years. So the process shouldn't be an issue. The only thing that we've never done is do a one where it crosses the county border,
Yeah.
so.
So would that then have its own joint drainage board set up similar to how some of our others, the ones particularly that don't meet?
That's the part where one of the counties can
Take it on?
take it on. Yeah, the other one does have to pass a resolution or take action to allow the other county to handle that.
Gotcha.
But this one here, since there's only 2 counties involved, unlike Big Cicero, where there's 4 counties involved, it's a whole lot easier to simply just work with one.
Through our process, we do that with several other counties. You will send a letter to that county, ask if they want to participate, and they can waive their rights to participate, leaving the county who wants to do the project available to do the project. So
Okay.
it's not uncommon. We send those letters out maybe once or twice a year to back and forth to the counties.
Okay.
no, when I was on the board with Big Cicero, obviously we had a large outpouring then when we made that move there. But that went pretty well, did it not?
Yes, it did, and they've accomplished a lot of good things since you were on the board, and Jordan's obviously been on there, but you were going through the part that was a little bit more contentious, and it actually, even with the large events, rain events we've had in June, the city of Tipton didn't flood, and that was something that was born out of that.
Huge.
It was amazing.
The outcome
It really
was
kind of like the same thing that you guys have done with that upstream storage out there by the high school.
Yeah.
It really just is amazing.
Instead of complaints, the board now gets thank yous.
Yeah.
Yes.
We do?
Well,
Do you not share those with us or what?
well, he gets them. It's just known that.
Oh, I thought you meant on the east side.
Oh, no, no, no.
Okay, okay, all right. Big
This is on
Cicero,
Big-
yes,
We get
yes, we do on
trespassers.
Big Cicero.
Exactly.
Yeah, we get trespassers.
But we will obviously work to keep the board informed of the process, and I'll be back before we're going to set for a hearing. And make sure you're still all comfortable with it, and your attorney as well.
Yeah.
And we'll just try to keep moving forward.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming forward to do it. I think, you know, let's go forward and see what, you know, where we have to go.
Well, do you guys have, I'll give you a
Yeah.
chance if you want to talk, anyone wants, probably go to the mic since we're on,
Yeah.
on YouTube now, that way it catches any comments. Maybe just tell us your name, please.
Mike Klein from Tipton County. Nancy, my wife, is a county commissioner, sits on the drainage board in Tipton County. I'm a previous member of the Big Cicero Joint Drainage Board myself, and, but we're landowners in Tipton County on the Mott Ditch, and then we have the Leckrons here, and there are multiple land property owners on that Swamp Creek. So Dennis could probably share a lot of stories about it, but when you look at Swamp Creek. And the interesting thing, Swamp Creek, where it intersects with Kilmore Creek, Nancy and I own a farm right there at that intersection where it joins in Clinton County. But it's a no-brainer. I mean, it needs cleaned out, and it would really be, I'm kind of optimistic, I guess, about it, that we could work together. And I'm thankful that Jason was willing, I don't know if he knows what he's getting into taking this on, but, and conferring with Dan has been very helpful too. But I think it'd be a great project, and it needs done, and I think it'll be something we'd all be proud of and really improve the drainage, which, you know, to farm the land that we do, we need drainage. And if you don't maintain it, you're not going to have drainage. So, and Jordan knows this very well, but thank you for hosting us and listening today, and hopefully we can work together.
I'm guessing it wasn't called Swamp Creek for no reason. Dennis, you have anything you want to add, or just kind of here, observing, covered it?
They're probably the majority of landowners and the foreman. So,
We have a lot of problems with the foreman,
yeah.
where it runs through that woods and stuff.
What type of, would you anticipate much pushback? Just general, not specific, just general from, you know, who the landowners are that would be somewhat affected?
Probably not in my area. You go further west, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think most of the people that are serious about maintaining drainage and so forth, I don't think they're going to get much pushback.
Okay.
I mean, I think everyone's got, they know the need. You just let something go and go and go, and you don't maintain it. That's not proper.
Yeah, agree.
I would anticipate the producers understand the need, and it's gonna be your small lot owners that will be the most vocal.
And looks like, luckily, there's not a whole lot of those in this area. It's mostly
Ag land,
farm.
yeah.
I think the rains that we've gotten this spring too have kind of shed light on the need for it, because just the massive rainwaters and flooding that we've had. I mean, even just pushing out large fallen trees and stuff like out into the fields, and you can tell that there's a lot of debris in there that needs cleaned out regardless.
So the timing's ripe right now.
I had beaver dams before,
That got washed out.
had to be cleaned up in
Clean.
years.
So, okay, I think, do you need direction from the board to kind of
I think
continue
we'd
to
like a
pursue
consensus
it?
to the board to move forward, working with Jason to establish this new watershed.
I'd make that motion that we
Okay.
move forward and work with Jason and Tipton to get it established.
I'll second.
All right, motion carries 3-0. Please pursue.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys. You're more welcome to stay, but you can leave. Next up, we have the Hannah Kessler watershed, the Swihart property appraisals.
Yes, as you know, this is the area where we have the tunnel over the Hannah Kessler Creek. Thank you, gentlemen. And we did, with the board's permission, go out and secure 2 appraisals. I can't see it from here, Zach, so
Yep.
could you?
This is the one from GER Appraisal Services for $103,000. This GER is Marcia Rissy. We have the second one that was procured by Ms. Swihart from Appraisals by Harris is Kristen Beardsley for $165,000. And here's the information we got from provided by Tom on the what we have to comply with in order to purchase a property. I don't know, do you want me to read this, or what would you like to do there, Jordan?
Well, no, I mean, I think we understand it. So the average of the two is
Yeah.
134.
Yeah.
So that's our maximum offer,
Exactly.
correct, Tom?
Correct.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm just looking for, if you want me to move forward with talking to Mrs. Swihart, tell her what we can pay her, see if she's interested. If she is interested, then we can begin digging in a lot more heavily into how we finance this.
Okay, that was my question. What was the plan funding wise? Is it gonna
Now,
be a loan?
ideally, what I would like to do is join this with the project itself and just do it all one lump sum through a loan, like we've done in the other watersheds, with probably a 5-year term, something like that.
Okay.
And just fund the entire project that way, because this is key to the project. I mean, this house is troublesome. And we'll also be purchasing maybe, depends on how the tax sale comes out. We may have to go through the process of condemning another property and doing the 2 appraisal option again on the storage barn that's there. But currently, we have a deal worked out with the person who has the, what's the term I'm looking for? Paid the fee for the taxes.
He's
It is
waiting
on
for
tax
the-
sale now.
He's waiting for the waiting period right now. to
Yeah.
expire.
I believe that is either September or November.
Okay.
So it's still a little ways out yet, because we've got a lot of pieces that have to go into this.
The redemption period,
Yeah. Do you know how long the redemption is?
a year, I think.
Okay. And it's,
1 year.
she's in redemption now, and she's paid, so that's part of the redemption period? Okay, so that should be up in September, November timeframe. And the person who has paid the taxes, or put in a bid for it, is agreeable to us just refunding her fees.
Okay. So would you guys like to have Dan pursue not an offer, because we don't have it established, but potential
Exactly.
or maximum amount that we
That
can,
would be it, yeah.
we can do,
Maximum
I
amount
mean,
we pay.
and let the landowner
If it
know,
is.
where it is, to see if it is available to pursue or not.
Now I'll make that motion.
Okay. All right,
That's it.
motion, 3-0. So please proceed.
It is what it is. You throw it at her and
Yeah.
here's what you got.
Yep.
Okay. All right, next one on the list is the Robert Miller watershed, the D Price Tile / County Road Access Restriction.
This came up about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, when I was called out to do an 811 locate for a fiber project. We've been working with Duke 2 years before on the Potato Creek rehabilitation of their main lines through there. If you've been out that way, you've noticed Duke has installed some new massive metal poles carrying this major power line that goes all the way to Thorntown and Crawfordsville. What I found is before I could get back there, and we installed a new riser so that we can monitor that drain. And you could just barely get back there. But now it looks like this. And this is technically county road right of way. It has not reverted to the landowners. I don't know why that is, but we still have the right of way there. However, you can't utilize the right of way. I think Duke, the fiber companies, and ourselves would like to be able to do that a little easier. But it has become sort of a dumping ground for vehicles. This may even fall under Liz's area of expertise at some point, if we were to file a complaint on behalf of the board. But these vehicles are all in the county road right of way. He owns to this gentleman here, owns to the center of the road here, but everything after that is shared by the other 2 neighbors. One of them is Brad Bailey on the farm ground there, and I can't think of the other name
The other one.
up above there. But there have been vehicles, looking at our photographs, they move out once in a while, but when we were back there 2 years ago with Duke, we could use about half of that road. And he has removed some of the vehicles that were in there at the time. I suppose he parts them out and then scraps them or whatever he does with them. There's also a lot of debris back there that I don't think is ever going to get removed. But I would like to be able to get back to that drain, and you can see it there. There's the new riser we put in your lower right-hand corner. I'd like to be able to get back there easily. I mean, I'm not necessarily opposed to him storing some stuff temporarily back there, but some of this looks to have found a permanent home. But it is still county property. So just looking for your thoughts on whether we want to engage in this or not. I mean, I'm not going to die on this cross or anything for this, but it does make a nice access to get back to that interstate area. We do have a large culvert that comes under there. We have a riser back there. It would just make it a little easier for everybody, including the utilities, to get access to that. I know there's also a fiber line there. They've got a new box placed here
Yeah,
somewhere.
you can
that
see
they work
that's the
with.
straw mat over top of there.
So there's a lot of utility stuff happening back there, and might be nice to have quick access.
It's like an alley, an easement,
Yeah,
and it needs to be accessible.
Politely ask them to remove it from the county easement.
yeah. Now, my question is drainage board, can I do that? My limitation to 75 feet from that riser, either direction. That tile runs northeast to southwest. Or is this something that the commissioners would do since it is technically a county road?
Well, we could probably grant the surveyor
Permission?
permission to do it on our behalf.
Okay.
So, do we have a motion?
Second.
All right, we will do that.
There we go.
Made Zach very happy.
I can tell.
I'm leaving on vacation tomorrow. I don't care what you do.
Well, we're gonna hold up.
Just wait till he gets back.
Yeah.
Just wait, yeah.
So,
That brings us to the end, but I do have two other things. One, Rick is not here. I would like to thank him for the use of the new mulching machine that we purchased. He used that on our east side drainage project to grind off some of the trees that we've killed over the last year, and some of the ones that were still growing. Did a great job. Also used it as a training ground. It gave John Swackhammer the ability to go out and not be on the road or anything like that. Just have a nice open area to work in. So I thought that worked out really well, so I wanted to thank Rick for letting us do that. He may have opened a bit of a Pandora's box, 'cause it works really well. We have some other areas in
Yeah,
mind.
it looks real nice, right?
But he's always been good about working with the drainage board and the surveyor and things that we need. It mutually benefits everybody. But to have that machine, it's really nice to have that thing. It did a great job. The other thing I want to thank Gina, our treasurer. She sent us the list of tax sale properties this morning, so we'll be reviewing that. That's what we used to do with the former treasurer. Somehow we got off of that, and that's why we ended up with the other person on the handcuffs or buying lots that never should have been sold. So we're back to reviewing those properties to see what we should look at as far as drainage goes and legal drains.
okay.
And I think that's it.
Okay. Gentlemen, you have anything?
Nothing.
No,
All right. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
so move.
Second. Third.
Okay. We're still live.
Yep.
I was hoping Mr. Stock